do they get those numbers off the census or something?
Based on a number of concepts of your
Yeah.
looking at the invitation, cities or county
You should run for president.
I know, can you just do like a quick? I'll sign up.
So we're ready whenever you want to begin.
Yes, is the application, she's not on it?
Hello?
Tracy? Tracy, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line.
Okay, hi. This is Sarah Bernal, recording secretary, and we have Ivan Orozco, the case planner, here. And if you are ready to begin, we can go ahead and start the meeting.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Vince Fregoso, the planning manager, and I am the zoning administrator for today's hearing. I would like to call this regular meeting of November 4th, 2020 to order. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If Sarah Bernal will lead us in the pledge.
Okay, please stand and raise your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sarah. I now invite Ms. Bernal to describe the ways the public can access this virtual meeting.
This meeting is being live streamed via YouTube at youtube.com/City of Santa Ana video/live and to our website at www.santahana.org/cc/city-meetings. While the meeting is in progress, the public may provide a comment by phone. To comment by phone, please dial 1-669-900-9128. Enter meeting ID 315-965-149, followed by pound. When prompted for a participant ID, just enter pound. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, please dial *9. When the comment period is opened, I will call on you by the last four numbers listed on the caller ID. When you are called on, please state your name, your position on the matter, and your comment. You will have 3 minutes. I will alert you when the time is up.
Thank you, Ms. Bernal. Moving on to public comments on non-agenda items. Does anyone wish to speak, Ms. Bernal?
We do not have any callers that would like to speak.
Thank you. Let's move on to the business calendar, the public hearings. I will now review the process for the public hearing so that everyone knows what to expect. Staff will provide a presentation and answer any questions. Then the public hearing will be opened. The applicant will be given an opportunity to speak, limited to 5 minutes. Members of the public will be given an opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. The applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to comments made by the public, which will be limited to 5 minutes. The public hearing will then be closed. Further discussion may take place with formal action taken to approve, conditionally approve, deny, or continue review of the application. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address, which is strictly voluntary. State whether you support, oppose, or are neutral to the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. Avoid gossip, emotion, and repetition. A clear, concise, and non-repetitive argument is most effective. Saying all that, this is now the time and place for the public hearing on item number 1, which is a minor exception 2020-4 for the property located at 1141 West Walnut Street. Please note that the decision on this matter is final unless appealed within 10 calendar days. Ivan Orozco, as staff, you will now provide me with a brief presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Zoning Administrator. As mentioned by you, the application is minor exception number 2020-04 for the property located at 1141 West Walnut Street. The application itself is for a request or a variance from section 41-626 of the Santa Ana Municipal Code in order to allow the continuance of an overhead feed for electrical service at the site, which is currently being developed with a brand new single-family residence and the conversion of the existing single-family residence into an ADU. As mentioned in the staff report and the analysis, the continuation of the overhead feed will not cause any, sorry about that, give me a second. Well, the continuation will be consistent with the streetscape. The current situation for other single-family homes are also overhead, which means that there will be no negative physical or aesthetic impacts to the surrounding properties or the general welfare of the residents in the vicinity, and will be the most feasible option not only to the applicant, Southern California Edison, and the city. With that, staff recommends the adoption of a resolution approving minor exception number 2020-4 to allow the overhead electrical feeder as conditioned. That is the end of staff's presentation, and I am available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Have we received any written communications on this item?
No communication received.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Would the applicant like to speak on the matter?
Tracy, you may provide a statement now if you wish.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
So far, all the information I provide to Ivan, and he can represent all in the information that the whoever in the made decision on this one can address it to him.
All right, thank you for your comments. We will now take phone comments from the public. Ms. Bernal, do we have any members of the public that would like to comment?
There are no members of the public that would like to comment.
Thank you very much. Since we don't have any public comments, we don't need the applicant to rebut any comments that were just made. So with that said, the public hearing is now closed. So that goes back to me here and taking a look at the project here. I've had a chance to review it, went through the report. I just had one question for staff. Mr. Orozco, I believe our code requires that they have to provide a dual service meter
That
in
is
the
correct.
event that we do underground utilities in the future. Is that part of this application?
That is correct. They are providing a dual service meter, and the feed from that meter to the ADU will be undergrounded inside the subject property.
So then the only unit with the dual service meter would be the primary, the main house then?
That is correct.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. I've had a chance to review the application, and I concur with staff's analysis here, and I'm going to make a motion here that that application number 2020-4 to allow the overhead electrical feed to remain on the property 1141 West Walnut Street be approved as conditioned. And that concludes my recommendation. And Ms. Bernal, is there any other items on the agenda for this morning?
No other items.
Then we are good. And if there's no other items and no other comments on that, then I'm going to adjourn the meeting. So, Ms. Tu, when we're done here, you can connect with Ivan Orozco and he can kind of fill you in on the next steps of the application. So thank you very much. And this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
all of this violence is having on families such as mine. My current situation has unexpectedly maybe become somewhat of an advocate for my cause and many others, and I have now turned to creating my own campaign, help find those responsible for my daughter's senseless death. As a parent, I know I will do everything I can till the end of my days to see the justice that we deserve. But it is all even more comforting to know that the people we elected to put on and your positions are also doing everything they can to help me and families like mine. I am not sure if many of you have seen the billboards that have been put up in our city, but it is unfortunate that those billboards and all the social media but I have out there that did not draw attention from most on the board. But I look forward to hearing from any of you on your thoughts or suggestions on what could help solve my daughter's case. Thank you. And thank you, compliments, Eladio, for inviting me to speak on this topic. I hope you have a good night. Thank you, Councilmember Solorio.
Thank you very much, City Clerk. I do see our police chief as well. I know he's been working with the family and having his staff assist with social media and other outreach. So I do know our police department is trying to do what it can, but it's up to the community. We need really the community to step up, and when they have tips, to share them. And I'm also happy that the message that was sent by the family also speaks to maybe there's a need to increase the reward levels. And again, I know we have a fund. I don't know how big it is because it's been a while we get a full report, but I'd rather have those dollars be used on an ongoing basis for the reward and maybe outreach. Maybe some of that money also needs to be put out there for outreach, because I do know that while we do apprehend many folks that commit violent crimes in our community, every now and then, we have to put them still on a list where we're still looking for them. So I hope this inspires our city manager and our police chief and council colleagues and others on how we can improve the program to bring justice to our community. Thank you.
Any other comments, council members? If not, I'll go on to the next item.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And I want to thank the council member for putting this on. I've had the privilege of getting to know Ms. Eva Barrios over the last couple of months. I didn't have the privilege of knowing her daughter, Victoria, but have gotten to know her through my conversations with her. And I wanted to just thank Chief Valentine, and I know that Ms. Barrios also said that Deputy Chief Kaminsky has been doing a lot as well to make sure that this case doesn't get cold and this case doesn't become forgotten, nor Eva's memory. And I know that they will be doing some different events to continue drawing attention to that really senseless, awful act that took Victoria's life as a young woman. And so, to the extent that we can, continue to support her efforts, and I know the chief and his staff, I know, are trying to do all they can to make sure that, again, resources continue to be allocated towards this. And I know every bit of attention that can be drawn to this will be. And again, just trying to make sure that this doesn't become something that just becomes a distant memory. So thank you, and those are my comments.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, let's go on to the next item. I believe that's item 85B. Councilmember Becerra, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's always important for us as policymakers to take what other jurisdictions are doing that works or that are valid attempts to try to address an issue or a situation that's developing in a city. And I want to applaud our colleague over in Huntington Beach, Councilmember Patrick Brendan, who brought this before his council a couple months back, and they just recently adopted an ordinance on this. And from my understanding is Councilmember Brendan took this from what was policy, or what is policy, excuse me, in Long Beach, and that is to have an ordinance adopted that prohibits the sale and repair of bicycles and bicycle parts on public property. As a result of Long Beach's ordinance, bike theft in their town dropped 31% from 2018 to 2019. And I know all of us have seen it all around Santa Ana, whether you're in the south end or the north end. You see the person riding the bike and the person carrying the other bike. And sometimes it's rolling, sometimes it's in his hand. But the point being is a lot of times that's probably not a bike that belongs to that person. And those bikes, as we've seen the media report, where you've got these chop shop operations that are happening. At one point they found one in a little cubbyhole area of the Santa Ana River. And frankly, I want to make sure that our public safety departments have the tools necessary to be able to go after this type of crime. And so what I wanted to do was bring this before my colleagues and ask that we direct our staff to move forward with an ordinance like this, because I think, frankly, we're all sick of seeing crimes like this take place, and we know that once these crimes take place, they only lead to other things. I mean, we've got folks that, I can tell you from where I live on the south end of town, there are folks all along the train tracks that have got just massive amounts of bike parts. And again, I'm sure they didn't find those in the trash cans. So I'm hopeful that you'll support this, and I hope that we can ask staff to move forward and bring this back to us, hopefully in 30 days if that's possible.
I would be supportive. Comments from others?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, this is Councilmember Peñalosa. I would also be supportive of seeing something like this come forward for consideration. I know that it's definitely a constant issue here in our city. To bring up my nieces again, one of them got her bike stolen last week from a brand new bike, about a month old, and it's a really nice bike. And unfortunately, it's her fault though. She left it out in the driveway. Unattended. But we shouldn't have to worry about things like that, right? I know that previously, from what I've heard some staff members tell me, is that, and if I recall correctly, what I was able to find is that we used to encourage residents to register their bikes with the city at a very, very low to nothing cost, if I remember. And then the previous council member, they removed that. I don't know much of the history, but I mean, that's something that we should also look into, and I would like to see information of why it was required before and what happened, the discussion, any notes that exist from any of those discussions of why it was stopped. That would also kind of curb the stolen bikes in the city and avoid all of the problems that we're seeing throughout. So I'm supportive of this. I want to thank Councilmember Becerra for bringing this forward.
Mr. Mayor, I also wanted to speak.
Go ahead.
I also wanted to speak in support. I know we've been doing kind of like selective enforcement, but I think this will help make the message a little bit stronger and clearer. I know in the past, in thinking about this as well, I think it's one thing if you're repairing your own bike, right? Like if you're on a sidewalk, if you get a flat and you're doing it yourself or someone's helping you, that's one thing. But it's when it's multiple and ongoing and, day after day, or when it's commercial in nature, not. And then I think, too, moving forward as we do ordinances like this, we also need to write a little bit more about what the enforcement and outreach plan is, because I know in the past, whether it's been regarding panhandling or whether it be regarding large vehicles, we'll do these ordinances and then maybe there's lack of clarity to staff about how to enforce it. So and maybe this might be kind of the trial for that, once we do an ordinance, how are we going to communicate to the public that this is a new ordinance, and then how might we do enforcement on it, and whether that's clear or necessary in this document, or if nothing else, just for staff to be mindful of that, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a comment. This is Member Pro Tem Villegas.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I want to thank the council member for bringing this item forward. If the staff could possibly work with the whoever owns the railroad area, because we find a lot of bikes in that area, and I know we can't enforce anything without their permission or without working together, so that would be a step, I think, in the right direction. And I'm very supportive of the item. And I thank the council member again for bringing this forward.
Any additional comments? Seeing none, let me just add, as I said earlier, that I am supportive. I know the railroads were just mentioned. I think don't need to discuss that in detail right now, but I know that they are trying to be more responsive and respectful and working with us. So maybe, we can somehow make sure that enforcement occurs there as well. I know I've called these in often. I've even gone on chases where I actually follow people that are riding one bike and holding another bike next to them, and they're taking it over by the riverbed or some other part of town where they're going to dismantle it and sell it for scrap metal. And it's just, a crime occurring in broad daylight. And under any circumstance, it's unacceptable. So, let's move forward. And before we go to the next item, I just want to add, and I don't need an 85A or whatever, but, we're talking about bikes and mobility and all. And Long Beach was mentioned by Councilmember Peñalosa earlier, I believe. Or maybe it was Becerra talking about the different cities and best practices. But, in Long Beach, they also have the birds and the limes, and we had those at one point. And mobility matters, and that really helps mobility. And, again, I don't need 85A or B or C it, but if any of you are interested, please talk to the city manager and the city attorney. Maybe we can get those back before too long. And now let's go on. I believe the next item is that Councilmember Peñalosa. You want to talk about the horrible things happening, I believe, in Armenia. Is it? Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. 85C was just to discuss and consider directing the city manager to bring back a resolution denouncing the attacks of Azerbaijan and take a stand alongside the Armenian American community in our region. So just a little background for my colleagues and the public listening. Artsakh is a historically indigenous Armenian land located in the southern Caucasus. Artsakh is a beacon of ancient Armenian culture dating back to before the Common Era and is home to a vibrant Armenian community today. On September 26, 2020, Azerbaijan's military forces launched a deadly and unprovoked attack against the Republic of Artsakh, including that country's capital city, Stepanakert. And that attack has already taken innocent civilian lives. This reckless invasion is a direct threat not only to the Armenian population that has lived in Artsakh for a millennia, but also to stability in the surrounding region. During a time when the United Nations has called for a ceasefire around the world due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Azerbaijan instead is renewing warfare, violating its ceasefire agreement with Armenia and causing death and destruction. The United States is based on and committed to the values of democracy, liberty, and the right of self-determination. As such, we have a moral obligation to stand up and speak out on behalf of the people of Artsakh, who have earned their right of self-governance and have flourished as a free, democratic, and sovereign nation for almost 30 years. Southern California is home to nearly 500,000 individuals of Armenian descent, the largest population of Armenians in the world outside of Armenia. As such, the attacks of Artsakh are of local importance. And the reason why I wanted to bring people are probably asking what, can the city of Santa Ana do, with this? And, it's a resolution to say that we're standing in solidarity with our Armenian American community. For over 30 years, the Armenian American community of Orange County has considered Santa Ana their headquarters. The 40 Martyrs Armenian Church is located just off McFadden Avenue, and it has shepherded the Armenian American community from all corners of the county to Santa Ana on a weekly basis. Children of Armenian families from all over Orange County are brought to Santa Ana to attend the Ari Gariagos Minisian Armenian School, and I apologize if I butchered that, and multiple athletic and cultural organizations operate out of our community center located off McFadden Avenue. So there is a need for us to stand in solidarity with the Armenian American community and those Armenian Americans that call Santa Ana home. I call on my colleagues on the Santa Ana City Council to take a stand and consider directing the city manager to prepare for our consideration a resolution denouncing the attacks on Artsakh by Azerbaijan to stand alongside the Armenian American community in Santa Ana and elsewhere in the United States. And those are my comments, Mr. Mayor. And I welcome any input from my colleagues. I believe my colleague, Councilmember Sarmiento, also had some words, if he's available.
Yes, thank you, Council Member, and I apologize because I wanted to join this 85C by Council Member Peñalosa when I first saw it brought to our attention, and it just got by me. But look, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that it is before us now, and I did want to see if the council will indulge me to just recite something that was forwarded to me by a business owner here in the city, but more importantly, a friend. And his comments are the following. These barbaric, unprovoked military attacks target civilians and civilian infrastructure and use prohibited cluster bombs with a clear desire to commit another genocide against the Armenian people. Turkey has shamefully recruited and paid terrorist mercenaries to invade Artsakh and endanger the entire Caucasus region for decades. In addition to condemning Turkey and Azerbaijan for these war crimes, I urge the Santa Ana City Council to support self-determination for the people of Nagorno-Karabakh and immediately recognize the independence of Artsakh. Thank you for your support of human rights, freedom, and self-determination of peoples. Sincerely, Timothy Jamal. Tim has been a good friend for a long time, not just of mine. Our children know each other, but he's been a good friend of Santa Ana. He worked with the Wardrobes, this one new nonprofit that just opened up, where it gives clothing to those less fortunate so they can interview and go to their interviews well dressed and well groomed and receive resources on how to prepare CV and just do some training in advance of receiving work. But I think to Council Member Peñalosa's point, we do have a nexus between Santa Ana and the Armenian community. But even if we didn't, we can't, as a community, sit idly by and not denounce what we consider and what many consider are war crimes. And for me, this is very personal because my brother-in-law was Armenian American, and he passed away when he was 33 years old, about 25 years ago, and he was a deputy LA sheriff, and his community had a lot in common with the Latino community. They were very, faith-based and hardworking folks, and many of our Armenian community resides in the area of Glendale. So you have a very, very large community there. But, as was mentioned, they're really all over Southern California and, are an important community in our society. So to the extent that we all stand idly by and see things that are happening that are unjust and criminal is really derelict for us. So I am very happy to join the council member in directing or encouraging that staff prepare and bring back a resolution denouncing these attacks. And I think it speaks well of who we are as a community. It speaks well of who we are as a society. But I certainly stand with the Armenian American community to make sure that this stops and that we play our small role in making sure that this stops as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional comments by council members? If not, let me just add that I wholeheartedly support this effort. Councilor Sarmiento, I remember years ago when that tragedy occurred in your family, And what's occurring right now is a tragedy. It might not be here in our streets, but it's happening to, friends of our city and within our city. And I think this is a very appropriate position to take. So with that, I believe we're towards the end of the meeting.
Mr. Mayor?
Are we to... yes. Go ahead.
Just
Go
really
ahead.
quick, I just wanted to thank Councilmember Sarmiento for the support and you as well, and my colleagues. Just to clarify, I would like to see a resolution come forward before us in the next 2 weeks. I know that there was already a draft floating around that we could go off of, but is that something, do you need any further direction?
I'm just, Councilmember, let me maybe suggest this. This is very urgent in a way. What's happening is happening right now. Possibly if we could empower staff to draft a resolution, maybe, share it with council members, people edit or whatever, and once we get a final version, let's just put it out to the community because, the sooner we take a position on this, the better. And I think staff has the gist of it. So let's give it a crack. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'd love to see, especially you and, the others that have expressed support of this. Let staff, draft something and present it in memo form. Maybe we can get it done earlier. I would love to tell the Armenian community right away that we're with them and that we've taken a formal position.
And you're right, Mr. Mayor, there is this is happening right now, and it's an unfortunate circumstances, and there is an urgency to it. But would this be something where we have a special meeting for this, or maybe?
What I'm suggesting, Madam City Attorney or City Manager, couldn't we empower you right now to go ahead and draft it, check in with council members without violating the Brown Act, but come up with a document to save time to be able to do it, with authority now and not necessarily hold it up for 2 weeks or having a special meeting? Any thoughts, Madam City Manager?
I am going to defer to the city attorney, who I think does have an idea that we could make this happen quickly.
Yeah, I think because our agenda item says to bring back the resolution, I don't know that we could do a formal resolution, but I think if with your direction and if you give approval to the city manager, to the mayor and or council members to sign, we can prepare like a proclamation resolution type of document, which is less formal than a resolution, which does have to follow certain
I'd like
rules.
all council members to sign it.
Okay.
I think
Mayor Pulido?
You can do that.
So
yes,
Mayor
go ahead.
Pulido, I'd like to
Councilman
suggest
Mendoza,
maybe
go ahead.
that, thank you, Mayor Pulido. I'd like to suggest that we form an ad hoc committee of about 3 council members and give them the authority to make that, take that action.
That's
so that
fine.
we don't
Would that
violate
work for
the
you, Councilmember Peñalosa? Or
No, I don't think.
Councilman
I don't think an ad hoc meeting is necessary at all. Would just be a waste of time. But thank you for that. But with the I would like to see both, Madam City Attorney. Bring back just a quick proclamation that's not as formal, so that we could put something out there publicly as soon as possible, and bring back the formal resolution at the November meeting. I know that some of the Armenian American groups that we can do both. Understand that.
Just make sure we don't violate the Brown Act.
And so that would be fine with me. Is bring back a formal
I think that proposal,
that'd be my suggestion as well.
council member would comply with the Brown Act, and it would also very clearly show your support for what you're trying to support here.
Perfect.
For the Armenian community.
All right.
Thank you.
Let me
just
thank
as long as we
everybody
have
for
a
that,
formal
then.
one come back in November. Awesome. Thank you.
You got it. You got it. All right. We're almost done. City manager, any comments?
Just two brief ones. The first one was an update on the police oversight community feedback. As follow-up to direction provided by the City Council at the September 15th meeting, staff has been working on completing a community engagement plan regarding the Police Oversight Committee. We prepared a draft community feedback survey to be shared on the city's digital platforms, and we also are coordinating with the city's neighborhood associations. That was a specific ask to engage the neighborhood associations. There are 15 remaining neighborhood meetings through the end of the year. That will be those opportunity for us to share the feedback survey. We also are engaging our local businesses, the Chamber of Commerce, and other stakeholders to capture their feedback as well. We anticipate that we will return back to the City Council as promised, which was within 90 days in late December 2020, with the additional research and survey findings as directed and requested by the City Council. The second item is just to inform you that our police department has been adding on a temporary basis 11 additional officers to be assigned to the quality of life team, and this is to allow for a 22 officer team for about a 30-day period, and this is specifically to target hotspots that involve organized narcotic activity and violent crimes against persons and involving homeless individuals across our city. And that's all, sir.
Are you done, Madam City Manager?
I'm finished. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Then let's go to council comments. Councilmember Becerra, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to encourage everybody who's listening to get out there and vote. This council was very supportive of making sure that ballot drop box locations, were located throughout the city and not just in one primary geographic area. So I encourage everybody to utilize those and make sure that you get out there and vote. One thing just to emphasize is the fact that the Registrar of Voters for the county is located right here in Santa Ana, right off of Grand and McFadden. So if you have any concerns, it's a vote center and a ballot drop box location right there at the Registrar of Voters. So please get out there and vote, and have a good night, everybody, and go Dodgers.
Thank you for that, and definitely go Dodgers. Councilor Mendoza, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pulido. I would like to encourage the public to continue to go to the various sites where there is free COVID testing provided by the City of Santa Ana. And if you don't have the information, just contact City Hall, and there is various locations still, and I believe the services have been extended. So I encourage everyone to get out there and continue to be cognizant of the COVID risks and be safe and wear masks. And I would also like to commend Chief Valentin on his efforts for his police officers and his department in following up with the street racing. We have had lots of success in curbing and decreasing street racing in Santa Ana. So I thank the police department and Chief Valentin for his efforts in doing that. And my last comment is regarding the dog park that's coming up in the plans. We could possibly look at naming that park after one of our veteran heroes, since Santa Ana is working on a recognition program to bring forth those veterans who live in Santa Ana, who have lived in Santa Ana, or who currently live in Santa Ana, and has served our military, and honor them by naming some of the public places. And we could begin by working on that as we start the plans for the dog park. And our city manager mentioned that perhaps we can even do a bronze statue honoring one of our police service canine police officers in maybe one of those dogs who has been of service to the Santa Ana Police Department. And in addition to that bronze statue of a canine officer, have that dog park named after one of our veteran heroes. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.
All right, now let's go on. Councilor Peñalosa, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to, unfortunately, the 2020 census is now over. The current federal administration ended it as of October 15th. So that was the last for anyone to fill out the census. We originally thought it was October 31st, but that was cut short. But I would like to kind of announce that Santa Ana's final self-response rate, not the total response, but the self-response rate of people that did it themselves online, was 70.4%. So that's, it's better than what I thought we were going to be at. So I'm happy to see that. We're fourth in the United States with populations between 320 and 360,000. So that's also good, considering that we're fourth in the entire country. The national average was 67%, and the state self-response average was 69.6%. So we're above the national average and the state average. So a round of applause to the residents of Santa Ana, city staff. I know that Daisy in our city manager's office worked tirelessly over the last year and a half, and along with Daniel and our lot of our staff members on the 8th floor. So thank you for that. And over the last couple of months, the CARES. If I miss anyone by name, I apologize. I know there was many that worked on this, but I wanted to thank you for that. Many over the last couple of months as a part of the CARES team as well, working towards making sure that everybody is counted. So thank you for that. I just also wanted to say that Halloween is coming up, and it's on a Saturday, and I know it's going to, everyone's going to have the urge to go out there and trick-or-treat and have Halloween parties and whatnot. But I just want to encourage the community to use every precaution necessary. I mean, I know that we're all, overwhelmed and tired of the pandemic, but it's still a very real thing, and COVID still exists. It's still out there. We're in the densest city, and numbers are high. So just carry caution when you're out there trick-or-treating. If you have to trick-or-treat and go to Halloween parties, just be safe about it. Wear masks. Keep social distancing. All those things work. So just keep that in mind moving forward. And also, since we won't see each other or have a council meeting until after the election, I just want to remind everybody to vote. Please, please, please vote. It's something that you should all do if you're able to do it. And there's no reason why you shouldn't do it. So remind everyone that to vote. And that's it. Those are my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for that. Now, Councilor Sarmiento, please.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to begin by once again commending staff for the hard work and everybody else that did hard work on trying to ensure that we have as many people respond to the census as possible. It's unfortunate that we're dealing with an administration that was really hostile to ensuring that everybody get counted. So that brings me to my concern with voting, which is equally, having, a lot of obstacles placed in front of increasing the vote and suppressing the vote instead. And so that's really unfortunate. One of the things I know in our community, because we've had a different system and we're not voting at our normal locations, a lot of people are confused. We did I think we, as a council, did a good job in compelling our registrar of voters representative to increase the number of drop boxes, of voting centers, and polling places. And The problem with that is that now we need to create the connection between those voters and where they need to go and how to properly fill out their ballots if they're going to mail it, if they're going to drop it. And that is, there is a large space between actually being counted and doing it correctly. So to the extent I would, like to have staff do as much as they can in the space that we used for the census, maybe in these last couple of weeks, do what we can to put up graphics, to have information that's educational on how somebody actually fills out a ballot correctly. If you haven't already done so, and maybe I'm kind of preaching to the choir and you guys have already done this, but in the event you haven't, maybe, put our maps up, our graphics up of where these sites are on Channel 3 and any other way we might be able to share this with the public. But, things like October 30th being, the first day where people can start voting early in person. But a lot of what concerns me is that, many votes may not be counted because they're not filled out properly. And I think because there's going to be a heightened expectation for people having to do it exactly right, I just want to make sure that everybody's voice in the city is heard. So, we're dealing with, unfortunately, maybe not as much in California, but nationally where, there's just going to be a lot of doubt placed in the results of these elections nationally. I think it makes a lot of people nervous. And, the great thing is that I, hear and see a lot of people that are tendering their votes very early, a lot earlier than ever before. I know that there's forecasts of us eclipsing 85, 87% voter turnout, which is really, really incredible. So, to the extent that we can make it as robust as possible, as easy as possible, and safe for folks to do it, I would just, plea to the staff that we do as much as we can in these last 2 weeks to have all our voters' votes count and make sure that we do what we can to facilitate that. And with that, I wish everybody a happy Halloween, a Feliz Dia de los Muertos. I know that we won't be doing it traditionally the way we normally do because we have a lot of folks visit us when we do our Dia de los Muertos. And, it's not going to happen that way this year. So the sooner we, all continue to, follow, safe guidelines, I think the sooner we can open up our economy and start doing commerce and enjoying things the way we used to. And with that, just want to compel everybody to vote and just make sure that everybody gets out there and does their civic duty. With that, I bid everybody a good night. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Sarmiento. Councilmember Solorio, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think Councilmember Peñalosa started us off with a good agenda here, and so I'll kind of follow that net just a tad bit more. First, I want to thank him personally for taking the lead on the census. I know, it was early on when he, I'm not sure if he enthusiastically accepted the position, but he was motivated and interested, and he's given us good reports throughout the past couple of years. So I really admire his leadership, and I know he had a very capable staff, particularly with Daisy, doing a lot of great work, and that's why we're above average, so fantastic. Voting's important, obviously, regardless of how you vote. It's one of our sacred freedoms in our country. And then finally, Halloween, the state has not banned Halloween, but if you did want to Google Governor Newsom, Halloween or Dia de los Muertos, you'll see guidelines. Again, they're not being banned, but have precautions or think about alternatives. There's a lot of things you could do with pumpkin carving inside your home or putting videos or things online or social media, but I did look a few days ago at their website, and they actually do have many, many good examples for safe alternatives for how to do Halloween and Dia de los Muertos this year. With that, wish everybody a good evening. We didn't get out of here too late, so thank my colleagues and you, Mr. Mayor, for presiding during this meeting. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's go on to Mayor Pro Tem Villegas, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll go quickly so everyone can get home and watch a Dodger game. I just want to thank the folks that came from Willard neighborhood and did the beautification there on the corners. They were planting flowers and handing out gifts to the local residents on the corner of 15th and Parton. It was a very nice turnout. It was a little warm. I want to thank them for their hard work and dedication to helping the community look a little bit better in that area. And thank you, everyone, and have a good night. Go Dodgers.
Just a couple of things from me. One, I want to thank our city manager. I think he's done a great job on many, many different things, in particular, COVID and how we're fighting it. And of course, she's inspired Daisy, and Daisy's really come into her own. And this program, how we used it to up our census numbers, how we're using it to pass out masks, how we're using it to suppress our numbers, it's made a big difference. We're not there yet, but the rate of increase is decreasing. So, and now we're starting to get data finally from the county. 7 months later, we're starting to get data that is, specific by census tract. And so we're able to better target our efforts. And, hopefully we'll be in the orange. So Orange County will actually go from red to orange. And with that, everybody please remember to vote. And I think we're not going to be getting together till right around Thanksgiving. So just in case, be safe, love each other and love the city. With that, this meeting is adjourned.
Are you struggling from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic? Well, the City of Santa Ana wants to help. The new Santa Ana Cares program includes free coronavirus testing for Santa Ana residents, rental assistance, help with past due utility bills, child care payment assistance for workers, grants for businesses, nonprofits, and artists, and much more. We are also bringing these resources directly to dozens of Santa Ana neighborhoods. These mobile resource centers will make it easy to get connected with the services and programs you may need during this difficult time. You will see this notice hanging on your door the day before we will be in your neighborhood to let you know we are coming. This free service is available for Santa Ana residents only, and all participants must wear a face covering when attending. To learn more about Santa Ana Cares, please visit www.santa-ana.org/cares or call the CARES hotline at 714-667.
Right now, across Orange County, you are needed.
Right now, the call goes out for you to step up and help your neighbor.
From the beaches to the city, we all play a part in protecting each other.
Wearing your mask is a simple way to show your family, your friends, your community that you care.
Because when you keep the safety of others in mind, it inspires them to think of you too.
So please, take a mask with you when you're out and about, And remember to stay at least 6 feet apart from others.
When we do our part, we help prevent the spread of coronavirus. When we do our part, we spread a movement of collective consideration for our community.
Right now,
it's time to come together as one.
And work together to build a better tomorrow.
when we work together, we are stronger.
We need each other like no other time in history.
Right now, it's time to stand together.
We need you. We need you.
We need you to stand up. Put on your mask.
And tell your neighbor,
I've got you.
I've got you.
I've got you.
And no matter how tough it gets,
We will come back stronger
because we did it together.
There's never been a more difficult time to run a small business. That's why the City of Santa Ana is providing a number of resources aimed at helping small businesses struggling in our community. The COVID-19 Small Business Incentive Grant provides up to $5,000 for Santa Ana businesses with 5 or fewer employees and can be used for eligible business expenses. The Small Business and Nonprofit Grant provides up to $10,000 for Santa Ana businesses and nonprofit organizations with 25 or fewer full-time equivalent employees. There's even a restaurant and bar relief grant that offers up to $10,000 for businesses with 10 or fewer employees. And a special arts relief grant helps individual artists and arts-related nonprofit organizations. Individual artists can apply for $1,000, while arts-related nonprofits can apply for up to $50,000. Funding is limited, so apply today at www.santa-ana.org/cares.
Hi, my name is Brian Sternberg. I'm the Library Services Director here at the City of Santa Ana. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about some of the new and exciting programs, services, and offerings we have at the New Hope Branch Library. The Santa Ana Public Library is excited to begin offering curbside pickup along with phone-based reference and checkout services at the New Hope Branch Library. These services will be offered 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and allow our patrons opportunities to start utilizing the library's new and improved collections. These expanded services will launch on September 8th and will continue until both library locations are able to fully reopen to the public once COVID-19 restrictions allow. Although the Santa Ana Public Libraries are currently closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the New Hope Library has been busy receiving a variety of great upgrades and improvements that youth and residents of all ages will be sure to enjoy. These upgrades include an improved and upgraded collection with age-appropriate content for children and young adults. New library furniture featuring designs and colors that are fun and attractive for children, youth, and their families. A media lab featuring cutting-edge technology for youth and activities along with STREAM, science, technology, reading, engineering, art, and mathematics-based programming. A dedicated professional children's librarian or full-time staff member available to offer assistance and improve services to youth and people of all ages. New exterior landscaping, sidewalks, and lighting, along with interior and exterior painting to make the facility more attractive for parents and families. Expanded service hours each week when the building is able to reopen to the public. These additional hours will offer enhanced access and services for children and their caregivers. Please visit the library's website at www.santa-ana.org/library for more information about the New Hope Branch and the many other services and programs offered through the City of Santa Ana and the Santa Ana Public Library. Thank you for joining me today on this virtual tour of the New Hope Branch Library. We look forward to seeing you on September 8th as we launch our new curbside pickup service here at New Hope.
There's no doubt that the COVID-19 pandemic has put a strain on families across Santa Ana. That's why the city has started the Santa Ana Cares program, which offers residents assistance in paying their rent by issuing a cash payment directly to your landlord. To qualify, you must live in Santa Ana and be able to show a COVID-19 related financial hardship. You must also be considered a low-income household. Another program helps landlords and tenants by paying a portion of past due rent that is owed. There's also a residential eviction moratorium in place. This means landlords are prohibited from evicting tenants for non-payment of rent if you show you're unable to pay due to financial impacts from COVID-19. To learn more about these or other Santa Ana Cares recovery programs, please visit www.santa-ana.org/cares or call 714-667-CARE. Have you been tested for COVID-19 yet? The City of Santa Ana now offers free testing for residents and Santa Ana College students and staff as part of its Santa Ana Cares program. Testing is provided by appointment only at Santa Ana College, 1530 West, 17th Street. You must be able to provide proof of residency or Santa Ana College status. However, there is no insurance requirement for the test. To make an appointment, please call 877-362-9779.
The Santa Ana Family Justice Center is a partnership between the Santa Ana Police Department and 17 local organizations designed to help survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, human trafficking, and elder abuse. The center is designed to be a safe space for people coming in to seek services. We have our children's room for those who come in with children. This room is equipped with toys, books, and a play area for children to play and stay entertained. We also have our soft intake room. This room was designed to make survivors feel safe and comfortable while telling their stories to our domestic violence advocates. Survivors are connected to the resources they may need, which can include restraining orders, shelters, counseling, legal services, and many more. All services provided are free of cost. The Santa Ana Family Justice Center is located inside the Santa Ana Police Department and is open to those seeking services regardless of age, gender, sexual orientation, or immigration status. The center is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Hi, this is Santa Ana Mayor Miguel Polito, and I want to tell you some of the things that we're doing to fight the coronavirus. One of them is we have this kit, and in this kit we have a mask. It's a Santa Ana mask. So you can put it on. It's got the city logo on there, and it's a great mask. We also have another one inside that you can give a friend or a family member or anybody who didn't get the kit. We have 100,000 of these kits. There's also hand sanitizer inside the kit. Now, how do you get a kit and what's going on? Look for this on your door. When you get this on your door hanger at home, it will say right here, it'll say when and exactly the time we're going to be in your neighborhood. So we're going to have this mobile van, mobile center, think of it, where we're going to be doing a variety of things. We're going to be handing out the test kits, the sanitizer, the masks, but also at the center, we're going to be providing information on how you get rental assistance. Now, what's that mean? That means you can qualify for up to $1,500 of rental assistance. Also, we're going to have utility assistance. Let's say you're behind on your electric bill or your gas bill or your water bill or something. You can qualify for up to $500 of rental assistance. In addition to that, let's say that you're an essential worker. You have to go work at a grocery store and you don't have any assistance to help take care of the kids. Per household, per week, we're going to give up to $100 to help people with child care. In addition to that, at these mobile centers, we're going to have free testing for COVID testing. Also, on weekends at the college, Santa College, we're going to be doing free testing as well every weekend at the college. Go online, you can look all this up, it's right there. And on the masks, we're giving out 200,000 masks in total because we're doing 100,000 kits. There's 2 masks per kit. And that won't be the end of it, but we really need to mask up. If we mask up, we're going to beat this virus. I know of a case where the whole family got it, except one individual that kept wearing his mask in the house, opened the window, put up a sheet, tried to protect himself. The family is now recovered, but he never got it. And he never got it because he masked up. And that's not uncommon. Masks really work. It's a big, big, big reduction. So if you have any questions, just go online at City Hall. We'll have all this information. I want you to look for these because these are going to be on your front door. And also the people that come to your front door and that are out there, they're going to be wearing these T-shirts. And, there's Santa Ana ambassadors, and Santa Ana Cares, and these are the ambassador T-shirts that people are going to be wearing. So let's do this together. Our numbers are up, but the rate is down. We're over 8,000 people now in the city that are sick and 208 that have died, but the rate of increase is not as high anymore. So keep wearing the masks. We're going to get this under control. So let's move forward together, Santa Ana. Thank you very much.
¿Está usted luchando con los efectos de la pandemia COVID-19? Pues la ciudad de Santa Ana quiere ayudar. El nuevo programa de Santa Ana Cares incluye pruebas gratis de COVID-19 para residentes de Santa Ana, asistencia de renta, ayuda con las facturas vencidas de servicios públicos, asistencia para pagar el cuidado de niños de los trabajadores, subvenciones para negocios, organizaciones sin fines de lucro, artistas y mucho más. También estamos llevando estos recursos directamente a docenas de vecindarios de Santa Ana. Estos centros de recursos móviles lo van a hacer fácil para conectarse con los servicios y programas que quizá necesita durante este tiempo difícil. Va a ver este aviso colgado en su puerta el día antes de que vayamos a estar en su vecindario para avisarle que vamos a llegar. Este servicio gratis está disponible solo para los residentes de Santa Ana y todos los participantes tienen que llevar una cubierta facial. Para aprender más sobre Santa Ana Cares, por favor visite www.santa-ana.org/CARES o llame a la línea de ayuda al 714-667-2273 o CARE.
El Centro de Justicia Familiar de Santa Ana es una asociación entre el Departamento de Policía de Santa Ana y 17 organizaciones locales diseñadas para ayudar a los sobrevivientes de violencia doméstica, agresión sexual, abuso infantil, trata de personas y abuso de adultos mayores. El centro está diseñado para ser un espacio seguro para las personas que vienen a buscar servicios. Tenemos el cuarto familiar para aquellos que vengan con niños. Este cuarto está equipado con juguetes, libros y una área de juegos para que los niños jueguen y se entretengan. También tenemos nuestra sala de entrevistas, cual fue diseñada para que los sobrevivientes se sientan seguros y cómodos mientras cuentan sus historias a nuestros defensores de la violencia doméstica. Los sobrevivientes están conectados a los recursos que puedan ocupar, como órdenes de restricción, refugio, asesoramiento, servicio legal y muchos más. Todos los servicios prestados son gratuitos. El Centro de Justicia Familiar de Santa Ana está ubicado dentro del Departamento de Policía de Santa Ana y está abierto a aquellos que busquen servicios independientemente de su edad, sexo, orientación sexual o estado migratorio. El centro está abierto de lunes a viernes de 8 a 5 de la tarde.
Nunca ha existido un momento más difícil para administrar una pequeña empresa. Es por eso que la ciudad de Santa Ana está proporcionando una variedad de recursos destinados a ayudar a los pequeños negocios que luchan en nuestra comunidad. La subvención de incentivo para pequeñas empresas COVID-19 proporciona hasta $5,000 para empresas de Santa Ana con 5 empleados o menos y se puede utilizar para gastos comerciales elegibles. La subvención para negocios pequeños y organizaciones sin fines de lucro proporciona hasta $10,000 para negocios y organizaciones sin fines de lucro de Santa Ana con 25 o menos empleados equivalentes a tiempo completo. Incluso hay una subvención de ayuda para restaurantes y bares que ofrece hasta $10,000 para negocios con 10 empleados o menos. Y una subvención de alivio a las artes ayuda a artistas individuales y organizaciones sin fines de lucro relacionadas con las artes. Los artistas individuales pueden solicitar $1,000, mientras que las organizaciones sin fines de lucro relacionadas con las artes pueden solicitar hasta $50,000. Los fondos son limitados, así que solicítelos hoy mismo en www.santa-ana.org/CARES. No hay duda que la pandemia de COVID-19 ha causado tensión en las familias de toda Santa Ana. Por eso la ciudad empezó el programa Santa Ana Cares, que ofrece a los residentes asistencia en pagar la renta, con un pago directo al propietario. Para calificar, usted tiene que vivir en Santa Ana y poder mostrar privación financiera relacionado con COVID-19. Tiene que ser considerado un hogar de bajos ingresos. Otro programa les ayuda a los propietarios y a los inquilinos mediante el pago de una parte de la renta vencida que se debe. También hay una moratoria de desalojo residencial. Esto significa que los propietarios tienen prohibido desalojar a los inquilinos por falta de pago de la renta si usted demuestra que no puede pagar debido a los impactos financieros de COVID-19. Para aprender más sobre Santa Ana Cares, por favor visite www.santa-ana.org/CARES o llame a la línea de ayuda al 714-667-2273 OK. ¿Ya le hicieron la prueba de COVID-19? La ciudad de Santa Ana ahora ofrece pruebas gratuitas para los residentes y los alumnos y el personal de Santa Ana College como parte de su programa Santa Ana Cares. Las pruebas se proporcionarán solo con cita previa en Santa Ana College, 1530, calle 17 Oeste. Debe poder proporcionar prueba de residencia o estatus de Santa Ana College. Sin embargo, no existe un requisito de seguro para la prueba de COVID-19. Para hacer una cita, por favor llame al 877-362-9779.
Hola, les habla el alcalde de Santa Ana, Miguel Pulido, y les quiero decir que estamos haciendo un programa aquí para ayudar con todo lo de la coronavirus. Busquen esto enfrente de su casa, en la puerta de su casa, y les va a decir claramente cuándo, exactamente qué día y a qué hora vamos a estar en su vecindad. Ahora, ¿qué quiere decir eso? Eso quiere decir que vamos a estar allí para varias cosas. Les vamos a dar uno de estos paquetes. ¿Y estos paquetes qué tienen? Tienen adentro una máscara que dice básicamente Santa Ana, entonces la pueden utilizar. Tienen otra máscara también para ustedes o para alguien en la casa o cualquiera familiar o amigo que tengan. Aparte, para limpiarse un poquito las manos, traerlo con ustedes. Aquí está poquito de este elemento con alcohol para quitarse la virus. Pero aparte de eso, con este programa vamos a estar haciendo varias cosas. Va a venir un vehículo móvil con un chorro de gente a darles ayuda directo a las vecindades. ¿Qué quiere decir eso? Digamos, están atrasados en la renta. Vamos a estar dando ayuda hasta $1,500 por casa para ayudar con esos pagos retrasados. También digamos que se atrasaron en la luz o en el gas o lo que sea, $500 para ayudarles con las utilidades, digamos. Digamos que tiene que trabajar, o si tiene que trabajar en un restaurante o lo que sea y tiene los niños, ¿qué hace con los niños? Vamos a dar $100 por semana para ayudar a que cuiden a los niños. Aparte de eso, dentro de estos vehículos que vienen de vecindad por vecindad, vamos a estar haciendo pruebas gratis de la virus. Entonces, cuando lleguen, aprovechen. También, ya les dije, dentro de este paquete vienen las mascarillas. Utilícenlas. ¿Por qué? Porque salvan vidas. Me contaron de una historia, hablé con otro señor también que tuvo la misma historia. Él, utilizando máscaras, paró la virus, aunque a toda la familia le dio la virus. Entonces, dentro de la casa también se pueden proteger mientras pasa esta ola. Por esta ola es una ola fuerte. Hasta ahorita llegamos más de 8,000 casos aquí en Santa Ana y tenemos más de 200 muertos, gente que ya se ha muerto. Entonces es una cosa real, hay que tomarla en serio. Pero con las mascarillas y este programa que estamos haciendo, todo lo que estamos ofreciendo, vamos a salir adelante. Y cuando vean esto, van a ver gente con camisetas así, que dice Santa Ana Cares, que a Santa Ana le importa, Cuando ven las camisetas son los voluntarios, son las personas que están trabajando para ayudarnos con este programa. Entonces empiecen a buscar eso, empezamos ya en unos días y como les digo, vamos a ir de vecindad en vecindad hasta llegarle a todo lo que podamos aquí en la ciudad, todo el centro de la ciudad seguro. Entonces adelante, con ganas, juntos vamos a salir de esto y ahorita les puedo decir que aunque ha subido mucho los números, con las mascarillas últimamente está bajando. Estamos creciendo pero menos rápido. Está bajando ese índice y pronto lo vamos a tumbar, vamos a llevarlo hasta mero abajo donde tenemos que estar. Que Dios los bendiga y vamos a darle con ganas. Muchas gracias. Here I am at a typical supermarket, and I'm buying some food. It's important to be wearing gloves, also the mask, the cashier as well as yourself, and realize that the virus can be in any one of these items. Like, for example, there's a box of cereal. Somebody could have touched that. They could have touched the box. They could have put it back because they're reading the label or whatever. They put it back. You come, you grab it, you can get the virus. So don't just grab or assume that it's not there. Assume that it's everywhere. Here's an avocado. He's going to scan the avocado. Somebody else could have touched the avocado and put it back. And then when you take it and you touch it without a glove at home, you're going to get the virus. So make sure you cut and wash the avocado before you cut it when you get home. Just think the virus is everywhere. Potentially everybody has it, and it can impact you ways you're not even thinking about it because you can't see it, you can't smell it, but you can touch it. This counter right here, they have to be disinfecting it. Tell them to disinfect it because somebody came and they touched the counter. Now you come, you touch the counter, you just got the virus. Even with money, when you pay with cash, let's say, and they hand you change. So I'm going to give them a 20. Oh, it's 23. Hold on. It's a little bit more than I thought. So we're going to give them some money. And so you give them the money. If you're not careful, when they give you the money back, it can be a problem because the money can be a carrier as well. Somebody else touched the money, it's there, it can be on there for days, they give you your change, you're not wearing gloves, you grab the money, now you've got the virus. You don't even know when you got it or how you got it or how it happened, but you have the virus. So right now, let's go ahead and do the transaction. Now, I could have paid with a credit card, same thing. If I give the credit card to anybody and they give it back and they're not wearing gloves or they're not sanitized, they can give you the virus. So there's a lot of ways you can get the virus, and you've got to be super careful. Now here, for example, he's giving me some money back. This money can have the virus. Even though he's giving it to me with gloves and all that, the money itself, somebody else could have touched it when they brought it to the store. They're giving you the change back. Now that money, this money right here, has the virus. So you can't assume anything. This money has to be sanitized. So I'm going to put this, can I have a little bag or something? I'm going to put it in a little bag. When I get home, I'm going to clean this money because you can't take any chances. This money could make you sick because it has the virus. So for right now, normally I pay with a credit card, but I want to make a point. So I'm just going to put it in here. I'm going to take it home. When I get it home, I'm going to sanitize it. Back and forth on both sides, make it clean money. Aquí está el alcalde Miguel Pulido y les estoy hablando un poquito de qué hacer cuando van al supermercado. La virus puede estar en muchas partes, se esconde, cosas que uno ni piensa dónde van a estar. Entonces es bueno tener una máscara, también decía la persona que ellos tengan una máscara y tener guantes para no contagiarse. Cuando uno sale a comprar cosas es un gran problema. Por ejemplo, estos paquetes aquí son los chocolates muy ricos. Aquí afuera alguien puede haber tocado esto, lo regresan y ya tiene la virus. Uno lo lleva a casa, lo rompe, se lo come y al tocar esto tiene la virus. Entonces esto abrirlo con guantes y separarlo y tirar lo demás. Por aquí también, por ejemplo, tenemos una caja de cereal. Alguien puede haber llegado, leen la caja de cereal, no les gusta, lo regresan, al regresarlo tiene la virus. Uno llega, toma la caja de cereal, se la lleva a la casa, toda la familia está tomando el cereal de la misma caja, es un problema. Mejor cuando lleguen a la casa, romper todo esto, sacar la bolsa que está adentro y usar eso y esto tirarlo. porque esto puede tener la virus. Un aguacate, la misma cosa. Alguien puede haber tocado el aguacate que estaban enfermos, lo regresan y ya tiene la virus. Uno llega, no tiene guantes, lo corta, lo toma, se lo come y ya está contagiado. Entonces hay muchas maneras que nos puede impactar esto. Ahora, aparte, el dinero. Aquí le estoy pagando al señor con un billete. Él ahorita me va a dar cambio, ya le pagué hace unos minutos, pero si me da mi cambio, mira, aquí me está dando el cambio. Este dinero que viene de él hacia mí, este dinero puede tener la virus. Porque alguien tocó el dinero anteriormente, yo no sé quién. Si ellos tenían la virus, esto tiene la virus y aquí está el dinero. Entonces este dinero ahorita por el momento lo voy a meter en una bolsita. Al llegar a la casa lo voy a desinfectar porque esto puede tener la virus. Entonces uno se tiene que proteger. Entonces cuídense en todo con mucho cuidado porque no sabemos ni cómo llega la virus, nada más sabemos que es muy contagiosa y que puede estar en todas partes. Aquí esta superficie de aquí, esto lo puede tocar otra persona que está contaminada. Yo llego sin guantes, la toco, ya tengo la virus. Entonces piensen que por todas partes puede estar y por favor cuídense mucho. Mucho, 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 mucho. Muchas gracias.
Banana 911.
Shots fired in our neighborhood. My husband walked outside. I heard voices and then I heard gunshots, probably 6 rounds. They're coming back in. They're coming back in.
Family of teen fatally shot pleads for help finding her killer. Victoria Barrios was struck by gunfire just after midnight.
Hi, I am Jose Gonzalez, commander of the Crimes Against Persons Division. The Santa Ana Police Department always strives to utilize all available resources to involve the community during difficult homicide investigations. For the record, a homicide spotlight will be produced monthly to draw attention to unsolved homicide and cold case investigations. All segments will be shared via social media to encourage the community's assistance in capturing the suspects with the ultimate goal of providing closure to grieving families and friends. This month's segment of For the Record involves Catherine Elaine Salibi, who was 24 years old at the time of her disappearance. Catherine's mother, Rose Lee, reported her missing on July 31st, 2015. Catherine was last seen or heard from a month prior. When asked why she waited to report her daughter missing, Rose Lee informed officers that Catherine made risky lifestyle choices. Catherine's lifestyle placed a strain on their relationship, but the two remained in close contact. Rose Lee Salibi is here to tell you a little bit about Catherine and their relationship.
My name is Rosalie Salibi, and I'm the mother of Catherine Elaine Salibi. She is my daughter. She was born in 1991, and we moved to Southern California when she was 5 years old in 2006. She was good at sports. She was cheerleader. She liked to ride horses and dance and was always doing something kind of creative. She started having issues in middle school, and that caused a strain on our relationship and stress in the family. But she and I were very close, and we did many things together. So when she disappeared in June of 2015, it was very unusual that I stopped hearing from her. And I never heard from her again after a certain day in June, and so I'm here to ask for help if anyone knows anything about Catherine's disappearance. It would be wonderful if you could come forward and share that information because I miss her very much, and we loved her very much, and we just want to know what happened to Catherine.
After not hearing from Catherine like normal, the mother began reaching out to Catherine's friends and acquaintances to see if anyone knew where she might be. Rose Lee provided the information she learned to the detectives assigned to investigate this case. It is believed Catherine was last seen in the Santa Ana area. Given Catherine's sudden disappearance and lack of communication with her mother and friends, foul play is suspected. If you have any information as to Catherine's whereabouts, please contact Homicide Detective Murray Oki at 714-245-8390. Also, share this video to help detectives and her mother locate Catherine Elaine Salibi. That is this month's Homicide Spotlight. For the record.